Okay, Erin,
Hi.
what do you hate?
Oh boy. So I hate the senseless death of Halyna Hutchins.
Yep, me too.
It's just really horrible. I think most people have heard about this by now. It's become kind of a big news story across the country, not just in our industry, but
Yeah.
she's a cinematographer who was working on a feature film called Rust with Alec Baldwin, and he was firing he wasn't even trying to fire it. But what was assumed to be a cold gun was pointed at her and was fired, and she died.
Yep.
And the director was injured. It's just really fucking sad. And it has so many connections to so many parts of like what is going on in the world right now. But at the end of the day, like at the bottom of this whole thing, there is a woman whose life was cut short. There is a family. There is a husband without a wife. There is a child without his mother. Like that's at the bottom of this story. And there are all these other layers that I think have been piled on top of it, some of which I think are valid and some of which I think are not.
Yeah.
But at the bottom of the bottom, I mean, kind of like what you're talking about, like this is about a person, like a human being who is not here anymore.
That gets extrapolated because it's close to a celebrity.
Yes.
Like it's all connected.
All the headlines, I got really mad looking at some of these headlines that are like Alec Baldwin shooting. I'm like, no. No, it's like Alec Baldwin kills someone is like the headline. And I'm like, no. Halyna Hutchins was killed in an accident on set.
Yeah.
And I'm no Alec Baldwin apologist. Like, the dude's an asshole. We all know this.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's neither here nor there. He's still a human and so is she. He also, like, did not murder her, which I have seen going around in certain circles, right? That's also not what happened.
Yeah.
So just to run through, like, and this is a developing story, an evolving story. We don't actually know all the details of what happened and how it happened, but just to run through some of the details. So first of all, she was a really special person. I didn't know her personally, but my partner worked with her partner and they knew each other. And by all accounts, she was just a really awesome human. And she like just has such a backstory, like she grew up in Ukraine and she was a journalist, an investigative journalist in Ukraine, but she always loved film and she always loved movies. She ended up coming to the US to be with her husband, who eventually became her husband. She went through AFI and like they sacrificed to like spend the money because AFI is not cheap, and they sacrificed to spend the money to put her through AFI. They have an 8-year-old son. Like, this is like, it's a life that I think, I was talking to my mom last night and she just started tearing up immediately because she was like, I just immediately thought of you. It feels like it could be any of us.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, it does hit close to home because you go, oh, wow, I can so relate to this person who made sacrifices and did all this for the love of her art. You know, and she finally was getting to a really exciting point in her career of like, I think she had done a couple features, but like, it's a big deal to be a woman who is the director of photography or the cinematographer on a feature film. It's a big deal. There aren't as many as one would hope. And so I think that's also makes it just hard. Like when you lose someone who had to fight so hard to get where they are, like, it's tough.
Okay.
What also sucks is just like the situation around it, right? Because this is a low budget film. We've just been talking about the IATSE situation.
Ooh, I can get into the
and we talked about like this is what people are fighting for. They're fighting for health and safety. It is literally life and death. Literally. Now, should it be life and death on a film set? No. Shay, can you calm down?
She listened.
Thank you. It is literally life and death. Now, should it be life and death on a film set? Probably not. But you are working with dangerous equipment sometimes. Now, I have a whole opinion about guns and the fact that, like, why the fuck are we using real guns on film sets anymore?
Yep.
Like, we have 3D printers and we have all these advanced CGI and all this shit. Why are we working with real guns?
If you're, like, let's say using a weapon on set, my purview is I think it should be safe enough for a 5-year-old to handle. Now, we're all sluts for authenticity and we love the, like, fucking, I don't know why you use a real gun.
Yeah.
I'm not making an excuse for you, but blanks, no.
No.
The fact that there, like, could have been a live round in there, no. The fact that, like, you're not just editing in gunshots in post, why?
Why? It's just money. It's just money.
It's money.
Capitalism is
Ooh,
evil.
that's the thing. That's the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people make fun of us for being like, capitalism is evil and like we live in a capitalist society. So like, what are you gonna do? No, bitch, this is what we mean. This is what we fucking mean. When you put money ahead of human life, people fucking die. We are not being hyperbolic.
Yeah. It's
The producers were being little stingy bitches and now someone is dead. Congratulations. And then the whole discussion about like, oh, when do we get back and start shooting it? No. Don't make the film.
Don't make that movie.
Don't make it.
Don't make that
we
movie.
don't need it.
We don't need it.
We don't need this anymore.
No, we really don't.
Motherfucker.
Well, this is the
Capitalism
other
is evil.
thing.
Capitalism is fucking evil.
This is the other thing. Like,
Jesus.
what people I think need to understand about what was happening on this set is that it was not good for all of the reasons that we've been talking about with like the IATSE strike. They put the whole crew up in a hotel in Albuquerque, which is 50 miles away from Santa Fe. So they had to drive an hour to and from set every day. So those 12, 13-hour days turned into 15-hour days, right? They had their entire union camera crew walk off the set because of not getting paid and because of this whole like bait and switch with the hotels and the hours, and they were just like, we're not fucking doing it. That morning, and this is unrelated except that it is.
Yeah.
Fish rots from the head. It's not that the union camera crew leaving, like not the camera crew isn't handling the firearms, but it is an indication of what kind of production it was. It's a production where they were cutting corners, where they were not valuing human beings over money. And so they brought in this
theoretical profit.
Yeah, they brought in this non-union crew that morning to like step in as the camera crew. They had two, and safety was one of the issues because they had 2 accidental misfires the day before. One day before with the stuntman. And everyone was freaked out, except apparently the producers or the UPN. You know, like you have these, it's a breakdown of lots of different things, right? I'm not going to sit here and put the blame on any one person. I don't think it was Alec Baldwin's fault.
No.
Other than him being a producer and perhaps contributing to some of that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
As an actor, no blame on him.
Yeah.
There is a first AD who picked it up and said, cold gun. Is it that person's fault? There is an armorer who's also like 24 and maybe should not have been the armorer on a set like this. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, she's also one of these, like, guns are awesome, love guns, which is, like, I think you kind of have to make your living as an armorer. But, like, I don't think a 24-year-old should probably be number 1 in charge on a set like that. Probably not. No shade to youths.
All of that feels icky.
But look, and there's a prop manager. Like, there are all these people who had one little hand in it. And, you know, there's an investigation, like an actual criminal investigation with police and the whole deal, right? There's going to be an investigation. It's going to come out. It's not Alec Baldwin killed someone. It's this production killed a woman. Mm-hmm. And it's fucking bullshit. It's 2021. Why are we dealing with this? But this is the same shit like a couple years ago. Remember when Sarah. Got run over by the frickin' train? A PA was killed by the train on set a couple years ago, not protected by a union. Mm-hmm. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
And like, we all know that this can happen. And with the guns, it's like Brandon Lee died in 96? We all know that this can happen. Like, this is not okay. Yeah. And I think the thing that makes it especially disgusting is the way people want to twist things to fit their own bullshit narrative. Like, I know, like, Candace Owens has said shit and all these other people, and they're all like, because they hate Alec Baldwin, because he played Trump on SNL.
Skewering celebrities is a form of entertainment, which is just like a fucking gateway to like the egregious disrespect of Halyna Hutchins.
So the worst one that I saw was today, actually just before we started recording, I saw an article about how Donald Trump Jr. was selling shirts in his online store that said, "Guns don't kill people, Alec Baldwin kills people." I was like, okay. Let's put aside the fact that your father killed over 500,000 Americans by neglecting to respond to the COVID crisis and then fomenting
I forgot that Donald Trump killed my dad.
anti-vaccination. Yeah, Donald Trump did kill your father. Yeah. So there's that. So like a little bit.
Yeah.
But even, let's put that aside.
Yeah.
A gun killed this woman. Alec Baldwin did not pick up a gun with the intention of killing Halyna Hutchins. The gun killed her. Like, it proves your own point, actually.
Yeah.
That, like, the gun killed her. The gun killed her. So I'm just like, I'm over these people who want to just use this human being's death for their own fucking bullshit. And they always say, oh, well, it's the left that politicizes gun violence. Like, every time there's a mass shooting, you guys are all calling for gun reforms. I'm like, yeah, because it would actually make a difference and prevent future mass shootings. So if I'm calling for more gun safety on sets, or maybe, I don't know, don't use a fucking real gun, make it look like a real gun. How fucking hard is that?
I also can't believe don't shoot children while they're trying to learn in school has become political.
I know. But this is where we are, Aliee. We have to just accept the bullshit that comes to us.
Fine.
But like,
fuck it.
Yeah, that is an appropriate response to say, oh my gosh, this is a horrible thing that's happened. How can we make sure this doesn't happen to anybody else's fucking family?
Yeah. You know what? Fuck us for wanting less guns. You're right. Like, what?
I know.
No.
I know.
No.
I know.
And that's the thing. I remember when Sarah died, the PA, it was all like slates for Sarah across like everyone's fucking like, I'm losing the word for it, the like clicky clacker.
The slate.
The slate. Thank you.
Yes.
Slates for Sarah. Thank you.
The clicky clacker, though, for those who aren't in the industry, you know, the thing, it's got the black and white. It's a clicky clacker. You know what it is.
Guys, please work on any set that I'm on. We will call things by their proper names.
Clicky clacker.
Clicky clacker. But like it all said slates for Sarah, and that was very touching. But you know what didn't happen? Actual fucking change.
Yeah, actually, basically anything.
Actual any kind of improvement. So now I'm enjoying the discussion around, do we need to have a gun on set? The answer's no.
The answer's no.
Because again, any prop should be safe enough for a 5-year-old to pick up.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a weapon.
There's no reason for any weapon to be loaded
that's a controversial
ever. There's
hot
no
take.
reason. There's no reason. Why should a weapon be loaded on a set?
Yeah.
Why?
Even your most gnarled up fucking method actors, I'm sure would be like, yeah, don't hand me a loaded weapon. I would not like to do murder today.
Yeah, that's not my preference.
That's what...
When I walk onto set.
I'm aware my character is shooting someone. I, a person, would like to not do that.
I don't need to have that experience in order to empathize with my character.
Exactly.
Thank you.
If Daniel Day-Lewis is like, I don't need a gun, you don't need a gun.
You don't need a gun. So I hate this. I hate the way the human woman is being lost in all this. I hate the way it's being used as, it's not even being politicized. It's being used as a very specific political attack on one singular person, Alec Baldwin. I hate all of it. I hate that there are guns on set. I hate that this is all coming in the midst of like all of us finally like fucking trying to do something about health and safety on film sets. Like it feels like, even though like it just feels like a step backwards, and it just feels like, is this really what has to happen for any fucking change to happen? Like, I don't think it is. I think there's a better way to do this, and it doesn't have to come at the cost of a human being's life. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's what I got.